Hello, my name is Elite and welcome back to my channel. In this video I will explain the meaning, definition and the example of all phrasal verbs of come. Come by. The definition of come by is to obtain, to get, especially by chance or involuntarily. Now let me show the example of come by phrasal verb in sentences are. We do not automatically assume that all our visitors will come by car. Restaurant coupons are often harder to come by than grocery coupons. Beach-theme bathroom decorations are very popular and easy to come by. The square shape is more challenging to come by than round, for example. Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come down. The definition of come down is fall, in particular fall heavily, collapse or be demolished. Now let me show the example of come down phrasal verb in sentences are. Your father even offered you land if you would come down here to stay. Edith Shipton had come down the stairs and was standing under the archway. Of these, the first four have come down to us complete, or nearly complete. There were many literary works the titles of which have come down to us. Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come for. The definition of come for is to search for something or someone, in order to catch them, it. Now let me show the example of come for phrasal verb in sentences are. You'll see everything from there and it's less dangerous, and I'll come for you. The time has come for the firm to consolidate after several years of rapid expansion. I don't want to have to wait till kingdom come for you to make up your mind. He supped a mouthful of coffee, then told me that she couldn't come for nuts. Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come from. The definition of come from is to have as one's birthplace or nationality. Now let me show the example of come from phrasal verb in sentences are. Too bad Denton didn't hear that, even if it did come from the lips of a child. Many writers believe that the earliest references to guilds come from England. Most of the cavalry and artillery riding horses come from Prussia proper. A commune wine will come from anywhere within the parish boundary. Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come into. The definition of come into is reach or be brought to a specified situation or result. Now let me show the example of come into phrasal verb in sentences are. He saw the woman come into focus, and the man with mossy eyes released him. Man, himself and the animals had come into being by like transmutations. By this time, too, several of the other provinces had come into existence. There is a road closure order which has come into effect around the arena. Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come off. The definition of come off is to have some success, to succeed. Now let me show the example of come off phrasal verb in sentences are only slightly gritty from where the lid had come off in the tackle sack. 3 runs come off the over, as cook ably sees the spinner off for now. Simply comb your cat and drop the fleas that come off into the oily water. After users come off their high, they may experience suicidal thoughts. Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come on. The definition of come on is when someone encourages you to do something to which you have said number. Now let me show the example of come on phrasal verb in sentences are then let them come on foot, we may not dally time with great command. I hear he has come on some inspection business, remarked the visitor. It also features working lights that automatically come on when it is dark. The symptoms come on suddenly, often in the middle of the night. Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come over. The definition of come over is to change one's position or location, especially to someone's place of residence. Now let me show the example of come over phrasal verb in sentences are if you come over here dressed like that, I'm going to wind up in trouble again. Like when Laurie and Josh would come over and they would all go swimming. He was conscious of the change which had come over Italy and Europe. You're welcome here no matter what, just pack up and come over. Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come through. The definition of come through is to survive, to endure or not to let somebody down, keep one's promise. Now let me show the example of come through phrasal verb in sentences are the notion of solidarity and togetherness come through in these styles. Infidelity is a major offense, but many marriages come through it intact. What is one of most common claims for cats that come through your office? It's been a tough time, but I'm sure you'll come through and be all the wiser for it. Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come to. The definition of come to is recover consciousness after fainting, total, to amount to. Now let me show the example of come to phrasal verb in sentences are if she hadn't flirted with him, kissing her probably wouldn't have come to mind. That this one had come to him with a warning was the most he could expect. He gave her a look that warned her he'd get her if she didn't come to him. Did you ever come to know of your parents being different in any way? Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come together. The definition of come together is to assemble, congregate. Now let me show the example of come together phrasal verb in sentences are radicals also come together forming covalent bond in termination steps. People can come together and choose a form of government suitable to them. Surprising ingredients come together to reproduce the flavor of the fruit. It feels good when a Halloween favorite and a low budget come together. Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come upon. The definition of come upon is come across, to encounter, stumble upon, discover or find. Now let me show the example of come upon phrasal verb in sentences are: Indeed, not for many years yet do we come upon any positive evidence of revival. Despondency had come upon her there in the wakeful night, and had never lifted. Fearfulness and trembling are come upon me, and horror hath overwhelmed me. The economic ills we suffer have come upon us over several decades. Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come with. The definition of come with is to join and come along. Now let me show the example of come with phrasal verb in sentences are: A union with Christ approach is also more likely to come with a high ecclesiology. Many broadband modems now come with a wireless router built in. Never has swimwear caused such ripples, or come with such high price tags. Your partner or another relative or friend is welcome to come with you. Please like, share, subscribe and support my channel. That's all for this video. See you in next video.